What's the word, YouTube fam? Welcome back to the channel. It's your host, Jay Wade, and you are now tuning into Wait a Minute TV. So, what we have here today is Star Wars Theory is finally reacting to the fact that Disney decided they're going to finally admit that The Acolyte was pure garbage. So, fun fact about me, I am a huge Star Wars fan because I grew up on Star Wars. I think that nothing has beat or compares to Star Wars episodes 4 through 6. And even though Star Wars episodes 1 through 3 get a lot of flack, I personally liked those a lot more than most fans would. But that's just my opinion. I think the duels were great. I think the storyline actually was, for the most part, cohesive. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. Without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into this reaction because I definitely want to hear what he has to say and what his thoughts are on Disney finally admitting this was messed up. Let's go.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Everything is proceeding as I have foreseen.
After they call us racists and sexists and every there is phobe in the book because we didn't like their absolute garbage show that shat all over the legacy of Star Wars and what George Lucas created, the truth finally comes to bite them in their ass.
Fulfill your
That's
destiny.
TheorySabers.com.
Disney executive reveals why The Acolyte was canceled after just one season. You're not going to believe
you
this,
don't
and
say.
it's sweet justice for all of us who went under the berating attack from not just Amanda Stenberg and Leslie Headland and all of her cronies, but also the insane, intolerant fans who did not let any single one of us have a goddamn opinion, and me being the poster boy of that, simply because we did not like a show and because it was supposed to be Star Wars and it really wasn't. Disney executive reveals why The Acolyte was canceled after one season. Cliff notes, it wasn't where we needed it to be given the cost.
Pause. Where y'all needed to be? Where did you all need it to be? Let's continue.
A Disney exec has revealed why The Acolyte was canceled after just one season. In an interview with Vulture, co-chairman of Disney Entertainment Alan Bergman said while the House of Mouse was pleased with how The Acolyte performed in its single-season Disney debut, it wasn't enough to justify a follow-up considering the price tag. And of course, on a debut, anything is going to be great if it's Star Wars. If you put Star Wars on the title, you could peel a freaking egg and people are going to watch the first episode until they realize this is just someone peeling an egg and it's not actually Star Wars. We were
Facts.
happy with our performance, but it wasn't where we needed it to be given the cost structure of that title, quite frankly, to go and make a season 2. So that's the reason why we didn't do that. In other words, they saw that the season 2, no matter how cheap they would make it, even if they were to make it as cheap as the Kenobi show, it still wouldn't bring in the numbers and the views. Even if
Sidebar, I just want to say the Kenobi show actually wasn't as bad. Sure, it wasn't good, right? But it wasn't nearly as bad as the Acolyte. In general, it wasn't nearly as bad as what they say it was. But I understand the sentiment. Let's continue.
this was free, the brand damage was way too much for them to want to take on another hit for a second season. They saw the discourse and they saw themselves. There are a lot of people at Disney and Lucasfilm who aren't crazy shills, crazy woke shills that are there just creating their own agendas and putting their own check marks. There are people there that actually really love George Lucas Star Wars. However, they're not the ones in power, unfortunately. They're just working there. And while they may have a reputable position, they're really not the ones that are making all of the executive decisions like Bob Iger or this gentleman or Kathleen Kennedy or whatever, whoever might be there. Upon the
Right.
series cancellation, Acolyte lead Amanda Stenberg posted a 8.5-minute video to her Instagram story saying she was unsurprised Disney didn't renew following the aggressive online backlash surrounding the show's female-driven story and queer undertones. Yeah, it's really all about that. The reason we didn't like it is because, the female-driven story and queer undertones, just like Ahsoka, for example, which is a female-driven story. And I mean, as for the queer undertones, I don't give a shit about that. I don't think anybody cares about that. Does it have a place in Star Wars? No.
That's not the real problem. It's neither the female leads or the queer undertone that is the problem with the story. He's probably going to let us know. And I can tell you right now, it's more than likely that it's not Star Wars. But let's see what he has to say.
No sexual identity whatsoever has a place in Star Wars. If you're going to make that the centerfold of your characters, please look elsewhere, as writing a story actually requires you to be creative and talented and know
True.
how to create a story progression with characters
It's got to
and
be
an
Star
overall
Wars.
dynamic. Especially when you're doing Star Wars, you need to really understand the whole story in general. Now, if I
Yes.
seem passionate about this and emotional, it is because I am. And the amount of attacks that I received doing this breakdown and live streaming and and going through the absolute shock of this shit actually coming out has left me with a big smile on my face, because if it wasn't for you guys supporting me the whole way, and also this now coming out showing us that, yeah, you know what, it did not get renewed officially because it was not worth the price.
Mm.
Now, they could have gone ahead and made this, a $50 million production, which would have been just $40 million less than the Kenobi show. Think about that. Just $40 million less than what the 90-something million dollar Kenobi show was, and this still isn't worth it to them. Think about
Mm.
that. It's not a huge shock for me, Stenberg said. Ever since the series was unveiled in 2020, she added, we started experiencing a rampage of, I would say, hyper-conservative bigotry. She's already creating that divide. And we're going to go right back into this again, because I don't feel like it needs, there is no, this is beating a dead horse. This needs to be just absolutely grounded into fine dust.
Made better Star Wars.
And there's a shift coming in the world and in Hollywood, and we need to understand this and we need to move with it, because for too long, people have been trying to silence us under this low IQ guise of, oh, if you don't like it, then you're racist and sexist and homophobic and this and that. When in reality, I would say 99%, and I'm not eliminating the fact that those disgusting people live out there and they are real, sure. But 99% of the people who do not like a certain art form, like movies or music or whatever, it's plainly because they do not vibe with the material. And in Star Wars' case, if you don't feel like a project is really akin to what George created and on that same plane, then it is simply because it's a poorly written show.
Yep.
It has nothing to do.
And that's exactly what I would say. I don't think it has anything to do with being sexist, being racist, being homophobic, right? Because I'm none of those. And I totally agree that it was all about the story. The Acolyte did not, in any way, shape, or form, to me, in my humble opinion, feel like Star Wars, right? But let's continue.
Do with any of the semantics of this bullshit and that bullshit of the bigotry and vitriol and prejudice and hyper conservative. Do you think all liberals love the Acolyte? No. This is a political marketing ploy to brainwash people who are weak-minded to think it's us versus them. No, it is one. We are one. It is Star Wars fans. Star Wars fans just want good Star Wars. Stop turning Star Wars into a goddamn political bullshit.
Look, what he just said is on the mark. I, as a Star Wars fan, just want Star Wars back. Please, Disney, give us, as Star Wars fans, Star Wars back. I'll tell y'all later how you can do that. But let's continue.
Fight, okay? Us versus a massive big entity corporation, whatever it might be. The rebels versus the Empire. And so we, at the end of the day, just want good Star Wars. We want to feel that magic. We want to feel the Force from a galaxy far, far away.
Yep.
We don't need this garbage shit to be written and thrown in our face and then say, if you don't like it, then you must be racist. Piss off with that. Disney's latest series from a galaxy far, far away, Skeleton Crew, has already seen growth, according to Bergman. Think about this, guys. Here you go. Here's another bit of information I didn't even know we would get. Skeleton Crew is doing better. They're seeing growth compared to the Acolyte. Think about it. A show with 0 lightsabers, no Jedi, no Force, nothing. No Yoda, no Plagueis, nothing. Is already seeing growth compared to the shit stain that was the
And
Acolyte.
that show is just for kids.
And I mean, fans are vindictive at this point. That you're getting the Solo effect. You're getting the Last Jedi effect. What happened with Solo? Solo bombed not because it was particularly horrible. It bombed because of the Last Jedi, and people were scorned. And so the same would happen with Skeleton Crew. However, from the Acolyte, people are giving it a chance. They're like, you know what? It's a kid's show. It's not really a big deal. Whatever. No harm done. At least not yet. Who is hopeful the Jude Law vehicle will fare better, having received excellent reviews since its December 2 premiere. And look at that. After the first episode, it's already doing better. It hasn't tanked like the Acolyte. The Acolyte had the first episode and tanked lower and lower and lower. Finally, to the end, the season finale. We can call it that because it was the last and final season. The first, last, and final. It was the lowest rated show.
It's not true.
The lowest viewers.
That's impossible.
Of any Star Wars Disney Plus show. Bottom of the barrel. There's a reason for that. Although Light on Specifics, Bergman went on to tease second seasons for Andor, Ahsoka, and a number of other Star Wars shows that are still under consideration. In terms of what's coming up, we have Andor Season 2, which is, I heard, $600 million, and we're going to get into that in another video, which we're really excited about. It is excellent. I've watched all the episodes, and it's a fantastic season. He's already watched all of them. It's already ready to go. And then we have Ahsoka Season 2, which Dave Filoni is leading, Bergman said. And then we're looking at a number of additional series that are in development. Oh, interesting. We'll see what we decide to do. As I said earlier, they have to be great. You're damn right they have to be great. And it's really...
Hello, I'm Patrick Stewart. I believe
Excuse the commercials.
not that hard. And if you want any advice on where to take it, you know my email, you know my contact. I'm sure you guys can find anything you like. You're Disney, you got the most power in the world. I'd be happy to lend my services and give you guys a bit of a better outlook on what George Lucas would have wanted, because it seems like a lot of you Disney guys are straying far away from that. And I don't know if you're controlling Dave Filoni and telling him what to do or whatnot, but like it seems like some of his projects are kind of straying a little too far from the path of what George might have wanted. You know, Ahsoka started out really good, and then I don't know what, something went weird there. Jon Favreau, Mandalorian Season 1 and Season 2, the most amazing shows. And then Season 3, what happened? Book of Boba Fett, what happened? The Acolyte, forget about it. It's not even real. Obi-Wan Kenobi show? You had Stuart Beattie. I talked to Stuart. I talked to him on air and off air. I know a lot about that trilogy. What were you guys thinking to not have him work on that? And to then hire Joby Harold and Deborah Chow with the shaky cam. I mean, why? What's going on? Do you guys not like money? Because we want good Star Wars, and it seems like you guys just don't know what to do with it.
10,000, all in advance.
It seems to me as though Disney may not be able to cut the right kind of deals with these writers, because there's no reason that if you figured out what's worked one time, right, or a couple of times, why you wouldn't continue to do so. So maybe it's them not being able to strike up the deals, or vice versa. The writers aren't being able to strike up the right deal with Disney. But that's just a thought. I could be wrong, but let's continue.
10,000?
I think, you need to really just evaluate better at the end of the day. I don't think it's very difficult, and I don't think you guys don't know how to do it. I think you do, but just stop making the wrong decision. It's that simple. And as for them looking at a number of additional series that are in development, that's interesting. Some more shows, I see. I mean, we have the Dave Filoni movie, like you said, but we haven't heard anything about any of the shows. Well, Lando, like Rogue Squadron or something like that. But I think beyond that, who knows? I'm very happy that this came out and this information was, we needed an official statement, and we finally got that. And it just goes to show at the end of the day, it's not hard to create good Star Wars because they've done it before. Disney has done it before. They did Rogue One, which was fine. They did Mando 1 and 2, which is great. Amazing. Mando 1 and 2 was really, really fun. I really liked it. The sequel trilogy, I mean, complete and utter shit. Obi-Wan, the only good thing about Obi-Wan was the fact that Obi-Wan and Anakin were in it. That was it. And Vader. You put Vader in anything, I mean, for a fan film of Vader is going to be great. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about the Acolyte not getting renewed for a second season. Let me know what you think about all the allegations regarding people calling us racist, sexist, bigots if we didn't like the Acolyte. And I hope you guys are excited for Vader Episode 2 because soon enough I'll be able to say it's going to be coming out this year, which will be 2025. The most ambitious, expensive Vader fan film, Star Wars fan film to date that I know of, at over $1 million, is going to be coming to you guys this year. Well, at least half of it. Or the second of 3 parts. And then the third will be 2026. Thanks so much for your support. TheorySabers.com.
All right, man. There y'all have it. I'm honestly not surprised that the Acolyte didn't get renewed. For those who are Star Wars fans, we could see that a mile away, right? And the thing is, I don't think most Star Wars fans really hate Disney. Maybe, maybe not. But I think realistically, it's more so that the decision making behind certain Star Wars pieces of Star Wars content, it's not fluid and it doesn't make sense to what Star Wars lore really is, right? I think that the main way that Disney pulls themselves out of that ditch is by tapping into some other parts of the IP, right? And I know for a fact I'm not the first ones or the only ones, or the only one rather, who has said this, that Disney really needs to tap into the Old Republic. That part of the IP will generate so much success if done right. Like for real, like Disney. If you are watching this, if you ever see this, please get into it. We've been asking for eons. Please, please, please do the Old Republic. Because if you get into that, you know, you got a fresh new whole new story that hasn't been told in live action, right? Um the Skywalker series, we know what that's about, right? And don't get me wrong, we'll always love the Skywalker series, but it's old. And that story can only be remixed so many ways. So we've been dying for the Old Republic series. Please, Star Wars. I'm sorry, Disney. I beg of you. But that's all I got for you today, guys. Let me know what you all think down in the comments. If you like this comment or content rather, please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, YouTube fam, I'm out.